Good morning everyone. We are in Makulella. In fact, the Allimale junction at an elevation of 1234 meters or 4049 feet. We are just about to start Pekoe stage number 15 from Makulella to Ella. Stay tuned for the journey then. So we are about to enter into Kinigama Forest Reserve and head our way towards Ella Rock at an elevation of 1350 meters. You must be wondering why we are doing Pekoe stage 15 out of nowhere. Because if you have been following our travels, last time we stopped at Pekoe stage 7. Remember? At Norwood. However, due to the southwestern monsoon season and couple of depressions in the Bay of Bengal, the weather took a nasty turn, making it nearly impossible for us to do any trekking at all. So now this is the active season of the southwestern monsoon season, affecting southern, western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces. But luckily it has no impact on the Uva and eastern provinces. As a result, we thought we would do a couple of stages in Uva province. In fact, we are in Badulla district, Uva province. Stage 15 stays all the way from the trail head to the trail end in Badulla district and Uva province. You can probably make out my trekking partner for today, Harinda, is ahead of me. Harinda and I have been doing Pekoe stages from stage 3 together. And to tell you a bit about today's hike, I'll go a little ahead through this Kinigama Forest Reserve. You can make out this is like a nice jeep track, and talk about a bit later on. This is a very important vantage point. On the right hand side, you can make out towards Poravagala. Elevation of 1310 meters or 4298 feet. And to the left is Nayabad the mountain, 1942 meters or 6372 feet. St. Catherine is towards that side. That's where the stage 14 between St. Catherine and Makulella runs through. This is the path that we walk along through the Kinigama Forest Reserve. It's a very wide jeep track. We are continuing our trek towards Ella Rock. I told you before, it's at 1350 meter elevation. It's a very important landmark. Ella generally is very popular among the tourists, especially the foreigners, and it's a world renowned tourist destination, famous all over the world. Now we were able to see the highest mountain in Sri Lanka, Pidrutalagala, 2524 meters. That's the only mountain in Sri Lanka which is higher than 2500 meter mark. However, I can't show you that with a GoPro. I need a zoom lens for that one. Anyway, you can see walking in front of me is my trekking partner Harinda. We are actually enjoying this morning trek through this beautiful eucalyptus forest, even though this is known as Kinigama Forest Reserve. To our left is the upcountry railway line between Bandarawela and Ella that runs through Kinigama, Hiloya and Kital Ella. Mind you, we will be going to Kital Ella and Ella stations today as part of stage 15. To our right is 11th longest river in Sri Lanka, that is Kirindioya, 117 kilometers long. She originates from Nayabad the mountain, which you saw a few minutes ago, and flows through, creating some beautiful waterfalls, notably the Ravana Falls. It is also known as Lower Ravana Falls and Bambaragama Falls. And then she flows to Lunugam Veheru Reservoir before joining Indian Ocean of Boondara National Park. That's a bit about the mighty Kirindi Oya. Okay, there's a friendly doggy coming our way. Probably he's done the Pekoe stage 15 before us. Or maybe he's a tour guide. If you are wondering how to get to the trailhead of Pekoe stage 15, it's fairly easy. You need to reach Bandarawela. We took a bus from Colombo Fort leaving at 1 o'clock. That is Colombo Badulla number 99 route bus. We reached Bandarawela approximately 6:40, and there is a Makulella bus departing Bandarawela bus stand at 7:10. So we managed to grab some breakfast and took the bus and reached the trailhead around 7:40. From there onwards, you can easily hit the trail and keep walking. The trailhead is known as Allimale Junction. There's also a temple called Allimale Bodhiya. So that's one of the landmarks. You can easily find it on Google Maps. Okay, there are more friendly doggies. We came to this beautiful vantage point. This is about 50 meters off the main trail. We are looking towards over Karandagolla mountain range. If you have heard, Kurulangala prehistoric cave arts are on the other side of this mountain range. Down below flows Kirindi Oya, and if I remember correct, Ravana Ella or Bambaragama Ella is towards somewhere to the left, where she takes a long jump towards Ella Velvaya Road. This is a view towards the mountain range and the Ella Gap. In the distance is a continuation of Namunukula mountain range. We can make out the towers further to the left. And in the ravine below runs Kirindi Oya branch as well as Ella Velvaya main road. Very significant vantage point. The streams originating from this forest reserve join Kirindi Oya on either side, because on the left hand side is a Kirindi Oya branch that flows parallel to upcountry railway line. Then she crosses Ella Velvaya Road before joining the main Kirindi Oya downstream of Bambaragama Falls, also known as Lower Ravana Falls. You can also probably make out there are some tarred sections, so this apparently had seen better days. But there is kind of like a very eerie feeling walking through this eucalyptus forest. If there was a mist and some rain, things would have been even more eerie. But you can also make out there is some logging happening here. Can you make them out? Right, okay. So let's continue. The weather has been very kind to us. No rain, no wind. Normally between May and August is the windy season in Uva. Despite being nice and dry, the winds can be very fierce and it might be difficult to walk. But today is one of those exceptional days where we got very lucky. We've come to a fairly beautiful vantage point. To our right, across upcountry railway line and the Badulla Bandarawala road, is Attalapitiya Forest Reserve. One of the Badulla branches originates from there. Beyond that, we can make out far in the distance Pidurutalagala summit point, and then Singletree Hills. In the near vicinity, we can make out Haggala Mountain. Then the Meepilimana Forest Range between Parakumpura and Horton Plains, including Conical Hills, Waterfall Point, Udamala Kanda and Totupala Kanda can also be seen. We are at 1.6 kilometer mark. you can make out some signage. From here we have to turn left. There's a camping site to the right. I think that is something you have to book in advance if you're planning to stay here. Here is a view towards the path that we came up to this point. There are some villagers in the near vicinity collecting firewood. Okay people, we are now taking a small break. Found a nice tree trunk. So far we have trekked approximately 1.8 kilometers. Today we have to trek between Makulella and Ella 9.6 kilometers. Out of that, roughly 2.5 kilometers is a rail hike between Kital Ella and Ella. I really like doing rail hikes. Remember when we were doing Pekoe stage number 6 and 7, we came across the upcountry railway line between Watagoda and Hatton. Couple of times we crossed it. So it is good to see the upcountry railway line once again at the stage number 15. So we are going to take a small break, have some water and continue our journey from here. We are now climbing down towards a small forest area. In addition to these eucalyptus plants, there is some underground bushes as well. Can you see my friend is slowly climbing downhill along this narrow footpath. Trying to give you an idea of this footpath. You can see all this time we were trekking along a very wide jeep track. But if you remember, there was this signage. The path was separated into the Ella rock, which is the path we are walking along, and to another campsite. Since that point onwards, the jeep track vanished and we are now trekking along this tiny footpath. I think the jeep track was there for the vehicles coming on towards the camping site. However, I quite enjoy walking through this forest trail. You can also probably make out a signage on one of these eucalyptus trees. I think that is also known as turpentine trees, if I remember correct. That footpath has once again led us into a somewhat wider road. You can make out two signages. One is the Pekoe signage, the other is in Sinhala, that is mentioned as Aranya Senasaniya. On the Google map you can find it as Forest Monastery. I think this is the where you have to trek along towards that. We are continuing on this beautiful road once again, having trekked for a very short distance along this tiny forest trail. Remember, we started our journey at Allimale junction, close to the temple at 1234 meter elevation. Then we trekked 1.6 kilometers until that signage where the campsite was. The elevation at that point was 1290 meters or 4232 feet. Then our next point of interest going to be the Forest Monastery. That is how it is marked on Google Maps at 2.6 kilometer mark or 1265 meter elevation. In feet, 4150. From the Forest Monastery until the highest elevation point at 4.4 kilometer mark, which is 1350 meters, so 4429 feet, you have to continue your hike through this Kinigama Forest Reserve. Then at 4.5 kilometer mark you reach the Ella Rock viewpoint, one of the most beautiful viewpoints in not only in Sri Lanka but also in the entire world. Elevation there is approximately 1300 meters. Afterwards it's going to be a steady climb downhill towards Kital Ella railway station, which is at roughly 1080 meters. That's where the railway line is. So you have to climb 220 meters within just 2.4 kilometer distance. So it's going to be a very steep downhill trek. I think we are very close to the forest monastery. From here, I think we got to be a bit quiet so as not to disturb the monks here. Okay, if you are coming by vehicle, this is where you have to leave them. Right, okay, there is also a forest department signage. Kinigama Forest Reserve, 342.5 hectares. This is also known as Allagala Monastery. Okay, let's stop here, bypass it and start our journey again. Very important message. It means we can only breathe as long as the trees are there. We just passed the forest monastery, didn't stop by to take any pictures or videos. Now you can make out this beautiful path ahead of us all the way towards the Ella rock, which is at 1.8 kilometers away, the highest point. Time to talk about today's trail. Stage number 15 between Makulella and Ella. Total distance is 5.97 miles or 9.6 kilometers. So far we have trekked 2.6 of that. Trailhead, remember the elevation was at 1234 meters or 4049 feet. Trail end at Ella railway station, 1027 meters or 3370 feet. And the highest elevation point, I told you a short while ago, is at the Ella rock, 1350 meters or 4429 feet. The lowest elevation is at the trail end at Ella railway station. So these are some of the information for those who are doing Pekoe stage number 15. Mind you, there was a very recent update on 18th of April 2024. So make sure you have the updated trail map offline available, because there are constant updates, revisions and changes done to the Pekoe trails. This is not yet 100% finalized. Therefore, it's important for you to have the up-to-date offline map available at all times, despite this stage so far has been well signposted. It is possible this signage might fade away. There could be trees overgrown, the trees fallen. Therefore, having the offline map is always recommended for those who are coming to do Pekoe Trail, regardless of the stage. And also try and find some good weather, because these Pekoe trails are like fine wine. You just need to take your time and enjoy it very leisurely. But once again, there are different kinds of trekkers who sometimes like to just do a trail run along these stages. You know, it's about 300 plus kilometers the total length. But some people like me who like to take it nice and slow, enjoy it to the fullest, especially the beautiful surrounding views. So for me, I'm always looking for the best weather, so that I don't have to worry about external factors like rain, leeches and all that. I can enjoy it to the fullest. Okay, the path is now full of loose rocks. Mind you, we are trying to get up to the Ella rock, so inevitably there are going to be some rocks, but I'll have to watch my step so as not to sprain my ankle. So I'll see you in a little while. We are looking towards a very special mountain, that is the Narangala, the The one on the right hand side, like a pyramid, is the highest point, 1527 meters, so 5010 feet. It's actually twin peaks. On the left hand side there is like a somewhat wider peak, and it has some tea plantations on top. Down below in the distance we can hear a train between Ella and Highlands. This is probably the Colombo bound Podimanike train. Unfortunately we can't see her from here. We are slowly walking towards the highest elevation point. Now I got to hear from my friend that Ella is very special, not because it's so beautiful, the climate is absolutely wonderful, just to come and enjoy, relax. It's also the fact that the oxygen percentage by volume in the air is relatively higher in Ella. If I'm not mistaken, as percentage it's approximately 20%, but in Ella they have found it to be around 21%. Now you might be wondering, okay, it's just 1%, so what's the big deal? But it is a big deal because the oxygen is very important for us to breathe in. Therefore, having even 1% extra is very important. So that is something I didn't know before coming to Ella all this time. So that's some new information for me and for you guys as well. Now can you make out this nice long straight path, and very shady? There are lots of trees. Once again, do you see the connection? There are lots of trees and the oxygen density is really high. Okay, now just to talk about some of the Pekoe stages that we did. Remember, stage 1 is between Hantana and Galaha, that's in Central Province, Kandy district. Then Galaha to Lul Kandura via Deltota, once again that's in Kandy district, in Central Provinces. Since stage 3 you enter into Nuwara Eliya district, though it's also in Central Province. 3 is between Lul Kandura and Tawalantanna. Tawalantanna to Pundlu is number 4. Pundlu Oya to Watagoda is number 5. Watagoda via Talawakale to Kotagale is number 6. Kotagala to Norwood is number 7. We have done up to that point. So number 8 is Norwood to Bogwantalawa. Bogwantalawa diagram number 9. And at stage number 10 you enter into the beautiful Hatton Plains, also located in Nuwara Eliya district. Stage 11 goes from Hatton Plains to Abeywickrema. Abeywickrema to Haputale is number 12. In stage number 11 you cross from Nuwara Eliya district to Badulla, which is in Uva provinces. So this Pekoe Trail runs through 2 provinces, Central and Uva, and 3 districts, Kandy, Nuwara Eliya and Uva. If I were to tell you the number of stages in each district, let me see if I can do a quick calculation. So the number of stages in each district as follows. Kandy has just 2, the stage 1 and 2. Nuwara Eliya has the most number of stages, 9. Badulla is closely behind at 8 stages. In addition to that, there are 3 stages, stage 11, 20 and 21, which shifts between Nuwara Eliya and Badulla. So those are the stages in each district. So I told you the stage 12 is from Abeywickrema to Haputale. Then let's talk about the rest of the stages. There are 10 more for us to discuss in the walk up to the summit point. You can probably see the sun is out and about. There's also a hint of mist in the distance. Now we were talking about the Pekoe stages up to 12. The 13 is from Haputale to St. Catherine. St. Catherine to Makulella is the number 14. 15 is what we are doing today, from Makulella to Ella. Then Ella to Demodara, Demodara to Harliela are 16 and 17 respectively. Harliela to Atampitiya is number 18. Atampitiya to Lunuwatta is number 19. 20 is from Lunuwatta to Udupusellava. Udupusellava to Kandapola is 21. Kandapola to Pedro is the number 22nd. So that's how this 300 plus kilometer Pekoe Trail zigzags through the heart of Ceylon Tea Country. Very beautiful, very unique. There's nothing like this anywhere else in this planet. So this is a must-have experience whether you are Sri Lankan or foreigner. Here is a beautiful viewpoint through the Ella Gap towards Walava Basin. On the left hand side is the extension of Namanukula mountain range. On the right hand side is Uva Karandagolla mountain range. That's where the Kurulangala prehistoric cave warts are located. We are very close to the Ella rock, the highest elevation point. The Little Adams Peak is also in the near vicinity towards our left. We are on our way to the Ella rock viewpoint number 2. However, we came across something very peculiar. You can see on this tree, one signage is completely taken off, while there's a new signage as a lookout point. We noticed on couple of occasions at least 4 such signage had been removed. It's quite strange, not sure what's the meaning of it, but let's go to this viewpoint and see what we can find out. Are you ready to be wowed? If so, just hold tight for a few more seconds, because we are going to enter into this Ella rock viewpoint number 2. From here we can see the proper Kinigama Oya as well as Bambaragama Falls, also known as Lower Ravana Falls, which can be seen from the Ella Vellawai main road. Can you see the view through the Ella Gap? Just breathtaking. Okay, we have to take another sharp right turn from here. Oh yes, here we are at the viewpoint number 2. We can see Nayabadda mountain, Uva Karandagolla mountain range with Kudulangala painting on the other side, and Kinigama valley down below. We should be able to see Upper Ravana Falls somewhere in the near vicinity. This is the amazing and breathtaking view from Ella rock viewpoint 2. 1942 meter high Nayabadda range on the right hand side, Karandagolla on the left hand side. In the valley down below flows 11th longest river in Sri Lanka, Kinigama Oya. She creates the mighty Bambaragama Falls. You can probably make out in the distance Upper Cascades, and there are some hotels, villages and farmlands as well. Now I am going to show you towards the Ella Vellawai main road. You can probably make out there has been a slight earth slip to the right, and down below towards left corner you can make out the A23 Ella Vellawai main road, and Bambaragama Falls is very close to that. I can also make out the bridge across Kinigama Oya. Now we are looking towards the mighty Namanukula mountain range, 2036 meters in elevation. Namanukula is the second highest mountain in Nuwara province, and you can see the extent of the Namanukula range. Down below is another popular attraction in Ella, Little Adams Peak. If you've been to the Great Adams Peak of Dalhousie close to Hatton, this is a mini version of that. Here is the view towards Ella Gap. Beyond that is the Walava Basin. A23 Ella Velvai Road, and many paddy fields are also visible from here. Not to forget the mighty Kirindioya. Remember the Kirindioya branch that flows parallel to the upcountry railway line merges with the proper Kirindioya somewhere down below. Okay people, we finally got lucky to come and rest our feet on this beautiful Ella Rock viewpoint number 2. But we faced a very scary situation because I don't know whether it was us or because there were a group of people here before we came. A wasp nest got kinda aggravated and there were maybe hundreds and thousands of wasps circling overhead. So Harin then I had no choice but to simply lie down on the ground. We had to stay there for about 5 to 10 minutes until they cleared away. So if you are traveling to Ella Rock, that's something you have to be mindful of. Try and come here but stay relatively quiet. I know you might have to do a vlog, a video, and you have to talk like I do right now, but try and keep it down as much as possible so that you will not have to face that danger. In case there are wasps circling above you, don't try to run away. The only option is to cover your face, just lie down on the ground. Do nothing, no movements, just stay there until they clear away. So that's one scary experience. I actually tried to record them while I was lying face down, but I couldn't. Maybe that was a good thing. Anyway, behind me is the beautiful Nayab at the mountain. She was with us all this time. And then the Uwakanadawalla mountain range. Down below is our beloved Kirindioya. It is time for us to go and see the proper Ella Rock viewpoint. There's a small rocky cave with a Buddha statue close to the viewpoint number 2. I think this is a good place to shelter during the rains, but now that there is a Buddha statue, there is not a lot of space. Just look at this beautiful combination: eucalyptus trees and lush green bushes underneath. After a very scary yet a beautiful experience, we are now walking from Ella viewpoint number 2 towards the Ella main viewpoint. That's where we can see Little Adams Peak, Ella Gap and Namunukula beautifully. There used to be a lot of people coming to Ella for camping, but I know the forest department, to mitigate the forest fires, prohibited camping on Ella Rock without permission. But I'm not sure what the current status is now that there is a provision for us to do the Pekoe Trail, stage 15. I don't know the legal status of camping on Ella Rock, but I can make out kind of a structure towards the main viewpoint. Not sure whether it's a ticket counter or another shop or something. Okay, anyway, one way to find out. Let's go there and see what we can find. By the way, we actually skipped the highest elevation point on this trail. It's somewhere close to the main viewpoint. We might get to that point on our way back towards Kital Ella. Oh wow, look at this beautiful log cabin. This is the highest elevation point on Pekoe stage number 15,350 meters. I wonder whether this is a ticket counter or a log cabin where people can stay in. Having trekked 4.4 kilometers, we have reached this beautiful log cabin. Still we don't know what it is, but the elevation is the highest, 1,350 meters, so 4,429 feet. From here it's approximately 2.6 kilometers to the Kital Ella railway station. From there another 2.6 kilometers to Ella railway station. Here's another view of this place. Looks absolutely out of this world. I really wish we could spend a couple of days here. We are getting quite close to the proper Ella rock viewpoint. I can already see there are few foreigners enjoying the surrounding view. Looks like there's a small shop here. Okay, this is after all a ticket counter. You need to buy a ticket when you come to the Ella rock viewpoint. You have to pay approximately 1000 rupees for one foreign adult. For locals, it's less than 100 rupees per person. These are the exact prices you have to pay when you are coming to visit Ella rock. You can see there are some nice benches for you to have a sit and enjoy a snack before going and enjoying the beautiful view from the Ella rock. Here we are at the beautiful viewpoint of Ella rock during our Pekoe Trail stage number 15. In the distance we can make out the beautiful Namunukula and towards the left Narangala. I hope you enjoyed the beautiful view from the Ella rock viewpoint mixed with amazing tranquil music. Now behind me is another wooden cabana being built by the forest department. You remember the first one we saw at the highest elevation point? That is in fact being built by the forest department for us to come and stay in future. That cabana is not yet ready for the visitors, but we were informed it will soon be open for bookings. So that's wonderful news for both local and foreign tourists to come and spend some quality time while enjoying panoramic vistas of Ella morning to evening. We found a shortcut, but it's a sheer drop. You can see my trekking partner Hatton is climbing downhill on this very steep path. The proper path is somewhat higher up to the right. It circles around and merges with the shortcut that we are taking. Remember, there is no shop on the top of Ella rock, but on the path you can find some small shops like this. It is really good for the community if you can buy something from them, like a king coconut or a soft drink or even a plain tea. We are at 6 kilometer mark, elevation 1160 meters or 3805 feet. From the Ella rock we have climbed down approximately 190 meters within just 1.5 kilometers. It was a sheer drop. This is once again a really good vantage point. You can make out the entire Namunukula mountain range and the Little Adams Peak. Little Adams Peak, the height is approximately 1151 meters or 3776 feet. Namanukula is 2036 meters or 6680 feet. There is another mountain towards the right end of the Namanukula range known as Kabaragala. That is 1630 meters or 5348 feet. This is not to be mistaken with the Kabaragala of Nawalapitiya, which is part of the Dolosbage mountain range. And this is the view towards the mighty Ella rock where we were about half an hour ago. Can you look at the sheer steepness of this mighty Ella rock? This is one end of the Ella gap. On the other end is the Little Adams Peak and the extension of Namanukula mountain range. There's another mini cool spot where you can have a king coconut or some cool drinks if you want to. Ella rock has this unique geographical characteristics which is not found anywhere else in Sri Lanka. No wonder people are attracted to Ella. This is definitely heaven on earth. Can you see the sheer beauty of the surrounding? We have trekked approximately 6.5 kilometers along the Pekoe stage 15, but this is the best part, and there's also a nice cool breeze coming from Namanukula and Little Adams Peak area. And we have to go to the right and reach the beautiful Kital Ella railway station after crossing Kinigama branch. I'm going to try and walk you also along this beautiful stretch as much as possible. Can you feel this nice cool breeze? Oh wow, it's heavenly. You don't feel the sun at all. Right, okay. The path is quite slippery. You have to watch your steps, especially during rain, so make sure you pay 100% attention to the path. The last thing you need is a twisted ankle. I think I can hear the train coming to Kital Ella station, because now the time is gone midday. There are lots of trains coming from Colombo, Badulla bound, arriving at Kital Ella and Ella around this time. Now, have you noticed we are entering into a kind of like a mini savanna area. There's plenty of this tall elephant grass. In Sri Lanka we call them as mana. Very sharp. They can cut you to ribbons if you are not careful. This is where we bid farewell to the Kinigama Forest Reserve and enter into the Kital Ella village. From here onwards, we'll have to trek along tea fields and the village until we reach the upcountry railway line. So here are the tea fields in Kital Ella. Okay, we are now getting very close to the upcountry railway line and the top of proper Ravana Falls and the Kital Ella railway station. You can see my friend is keeping a very close eye on the map while going downhill among these tea bushes. In the distance you can make out some of the hotels located in Kital Ella. Here we are at 7 kilometer mark, elevation 1075 meters or 3526 feet. There's a bridge across the Kinigama branch. Mind you, this is not the proper Kinigama. You saw it from the Ella rock viewpoint number 2. This is a branch of Kinigama which creates Ravana Ella proper falls. Meanwhile, Kinigama creates the Bambaragama falls. We have to now cross this bridge and get to the railway line at 7.1 kilometer mark. This is the Kinigama branch upstream. She flows down to create Ravana Ella proper falls. This is the Kinigama branch going downstream to create mighty Ravana falls. In the distance you can make out surrounding areas of Ella and many hotels. Okay, we are going to cross the Kinigama branch and enter towards the railway line. We should be able to see the Ravana falls from the railway line. Hopefully, fingers crossed, there is enough water, but I'm not sure whether there will be enough water for us to enjoy. But anyway, let's go and see. Here we are finally at the railway line, 7.1 kilometer mark. You just saw the beautiful and newly introduced Calypso train which runs between Badulla and Bandarawela via Demodara and Ella. That's a very popular tourist train. Here is the beautiful Kital Ella railway station towards Ella. We just saw the amazing Calypso train going towards Bandarawela. We are ready to conquer this massive Kital Ella railway bridge towards Ella. We just went to see the Kital Ella railway station. Now on our way 2.5 kilometers towards Ella. Okay, here we go. I hope the bridge, this footpath is strong enough. It looks nicely welded because when I came last time this looks rather rickety and not usable, but thankfully it seems to be in good condition, and the Kirindioy branch creating Ravana Falls is now on to our right. I will walk you along the railway bridge first, then come back to the center and see whether we can get a good view from that. Okay, there are some loose sections as well, but I hope all in all it remains strong and intact until we cross to the other end. But that sight of the Calypso train was just incredible, out of this world. There couldn't have been a better place, except of course the 9 arch bridge, to see that train. Okay, you can see my trekking partner Harinda is ahead of me. The time is now close to 2 o'clock. Remember, we started around 8 o'clock. So we have been trekking for the last 6 hours. We spent a good 1 to 1.5 hours on top of Ella Rock enjoying it. And now we are on our way towards Ella. This is the view towards the Ravana Falls. Unfortunately, we can't see her from here. There is massive tree cover, but you can probably hear her. This is the view towards Kital Ella, and in the distance that forest area is the Kinigama Forest Reserve, and she has the mysterious and beautiful Ella Rock. We were lucky enough to enjoy those panoramic views today. There's also an eagle around here. Can you see the fellow? Unfortunately, I don't have a zoom lens to capture him up close. Probably it's a her. Alright, we are now doing a rail hike. Not a Pekoe Trail anymore. But this is one of the most beautiful sections of the upcountry railway line. I have walked on this section at least 4 times before, because I really love doing rail hikes, especially in upcountry. Now, remember we started our journey from Bandarawela. We took a bus to Makulella, and the trailhead was Allimale Junction. Now, between Bandarawela and Ella, there are few railway stations: Bandarawela, Kinigama, Highlands, Kital Ella and Ella. The total distance on the railway line is 12.8 kilometers. But we use the Pekoe Trail that only spans for 9.6 kilometers. That is what we trekked through the Kinigama Forest Reserve. Bandarawela to Kinigama on the railway line is 2.3 kilometers. Kinigama to Highlands 4 kilometers. Highlands to Kital Ella 4 kilometers. And Kital Ella to Ella just 2.5 kilometers. So we have to trek that 2.5 kilometers on this section. This is a beautiful section. You can see there are so many flowers growing on either side of the railway line. There is also a hotel, so people can have a rest, have a meal, and probably stay overnight as well. Ella is very famous for tourism, and people come all the time, right throughout the year. There is no actually season, no off season. The only time it got affected was during COVID. Since then, the tourism has picked up. People are coming all over the world to Ella to enjoy this beautiful nature. Okay people, we just got lucky to see another beautiful German lady carrying Kandy Badulla mixed train going towards Badulla, because we are now very close to Ella railway station. Now the construction between Haputale and Bandara railway line started in 1887 and completed in 1893. So until the railway line was extended till Badulla, Bandara acted as the terminus. So the line got extended to Badulla in 1924. Now we are looking towards Ella Rock, Kinigama Forest Reserve, 1350 meter elevation. In the distance you can probably barely make out the Ravana Ella. That is the proper Ravana Ella created by Kinigama branch. The original Kinigama creating Bambaragama Falls is on the other side of the Ella Rock. You saw that from the Ella Rock viewpoint 2 today. We can also see towards Little Adams Peak. Let me show you that as well. Now you are looking towards the Little Adams Peak. Beyond that, extension of the Namanukula mountain range. On the right hand side, Ella Rock. In between A23, Ella Vellavaya Road, as well as Kinigama branch and the Ella Gap. Our railway story got distracted because we came to a beautiful viewpoint. You just saw that. Now if you have visited Bandara railway station recently, at least since 2011 April, you would have seen a black locomotive on display. That is a G2 locomotive which was operated by CGR between 1951 and 1986 for 35 years. That was built by North British Locomotive Company, one of the well-used railway engines, now on display, taking a break after 35 years of service. Ella railway station was built in 1918, 6 years before the line was extended till Badulla. That was in 1924. Until such time, Bandara was the terminus. During Rampala era, he was the railway chief at the time. After the colonial era, it is considered that was the golden age of the CGR. Unfortunately, we have seen a steady decline in the Ceylon Government Railway, now SLR, Sri Lanka Railways. Since then, there is very little improvement in terms of the locomotives or the diesel multiple units and the railway lines. We keep reducing our speed because we simply can't maintain our railway tracks. The newly added railway sections is very few and far between. We managed to add a railway section between Mihintale Junction and Mihintale, but it is hardly used. And then the extension from Mathura to Beliatta was completed in the last decade or so. Apart from that, there's very little improvement or expansion in the railway line. Since the economic crisis, there are no plans or there are no budgets to improve it further. But thankfully, there is a rehabilitation program of the northern railway line, especially between Maho and Anuradhapura. This is probably the best viewpoint of Ella Rock from the railway line. We can also make out the Ravana Falls in the distance to the right. The entire Kinigama Forest Reserve and the path we took through that eucalyptus forest can also be seen. There is this signal tower that only means one thing, that is, we are very close to the Ella railway station. Here we are finally at our destination, Ella railway station. This is the Ella railway station, one of the tourist hotspots in Sri Lanka. Then it is time to end our Pekoe stage 15 from Makulella to Ella after 9.6 kilometers. We'll see you once again with another hike. Until then, stay safe and take care.